before you go to work, you have to do a few things. One, make sure it's bone on. If it's too raw, it'll just collapse. And so while that's doing what it's doing, two, you've got to take into consideration the size of those pieces of meat. Normally we would use a meat bat, but most people at home don't have a thick base 10-inch meat bat. So your steak, your chop, your lamb cutlet of this size, which is a good inch. They're almost like little mushroom steaks. They have little small cuts of meat. Very hard to penetrate into the middle of that pink flesh inside. It's never enough. That's why you need a big sausage. Why? Because they're big, they're fat, and they're chunky, and they're juicy. I reckon I'll make about 2 portions with what I've got. We're talking about dinner for 2/3. Great on Valentine's. And we all know how I like to do 2 jobs at once, multitask. 3, you've got to know the meat you're working with without feeling it, without touching it. It just scents the meat. When it smells, it must be perfectly fresh, not a fish. And if it doesn't, then walk away from it. And then, if there's no fat coating, you might as well eat cardboard. You want to taste the bird. I personally go for the mature cheddar. I like that punch. Start to finish, it's 6 minutes, maybe 5, depending on the thickness of your salmon, top and bottom. Now, to begin with, we just open up the breast, open that breast up. Just massage a little bit of oil into the breast and just play. And don't be scared to juggle things round. I never, ever, ever skim it at the start. Some people like to stuff a bird. I just had a quick peep. It looks delicious. Not too dry, very moist. So now we go with the hams. I reckon we want to use 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, submerge them in, and toss, tombe. I always tend to do more than I need. It may seem like a lot, but trust me, it can take it. Just massage it into the bird, inside and outside of the cavity. As you can see, it's quite velvety at this moment in time, so we can play it like a piano. Oh, I'm showing this a lot of love, trust me. I was going to keep half the fingers back, purely for presentation, but I've decided not to. Just let's put them all in. The more you put in, the more you get out. You just scrape out that goodness. It's quite a long and slow process, but if you've got the time and you don't mind your fingers going purple, the results pay off at the end. Delicious. If you wanted to go that extra mile, pound it with your knuckles. It's not necessary, but if you want to go that little bit further, it's your choice. The prize bit for many people is the rump. We like to see them large. Does it make a massive difference? No. But if it wasn't there, you'd miss it. It's very tender, as you can imagine. Don't chop them up just for the sake of chopping them up, because if you don't do this properly, it'll burst. So what we've got to do is break it in with your finger, start to puff up a little bit, a little opening, and slide in my meat probe. I put in about 1/4 of a tube. I might as well put it all in there. So what I want to do is I want to take it as far as possible. As always, push it down the sides. Shake that in. You know, I really took it from the bottom end. When the blood starts to pierce the surface, how do you overcome it? I'm the last person to ask. You should just pray. I was brought up by my mother to eat bottom, but, you know, Mum was Italian. But the Italians are very different. I like it rustic. I like it when the juices in your mouth start to run. It's a nice vegetarian dish, but I don't eat them every day of the week. It's almost peasant style in a strange sort of way. The best one I ever ate was in Vigo in northern Spain. So a little trick of the trade. Blitz it. It's chemistry. But having said that, I did have an Italian mother. My mother used to mince her mince herself. No doubt she was in a rush. If I'm honest, if I was at home, I would mince it through. Let's see. It's ready now to liquidize. To finish them, what I do is I take the legs, split them down the middle with my tremendous amount of stiff sausage meat. I prefer to take it raw. Gives it that nice porkiness. I'm allowing the pin to do the work. And to finish, at that last stage, really watch over it. Be careful not to break the seal, because what you've got to do is you've got to get that timing right. And at the end, just whip it out. God be with me. There we are. So I've got to work it. It's curdled. I've left it a little bit too long. So you've got to really think about what you're doing. My wife used to always complain about the mess I made. You know, you can't just dump it and walk away from it. What you will see, it has a translucent quality to it, with that little white bead in the middle. You can see the richness within it. It's almost like a pot of Dulux paint. The darker the cream, the stronger it is. Natural flavour. And the beauty of this sauce is you can make a fair bit of it. Even as a young boy, I was excessive. I might as well. The nice thing about it is I've watched it live its life. I always use a cloth for the simple reason is if you use a paper towel or a kitchen towel, the paper can stick to the lasagna. As I've always said, perfection is lots of little things done well. You know, just have a go. It's not difficult. And voila. There we are.